Welcome to the Reality Check podcast. I'm Zachary Phillips. In today's episode, I want to discuss with you what anxiety feels like. So a few weeks ago, I did a podcast on what depression feels like, and I recorded it at the time of a depressive episode. I wanted to express to you what it felt like at the time, as opposed to trying to think back and remember it, because that would be a different experience. It wouldn't be as real. So going along those lines, about a week ago, I was feeling quite anxious and I was going through some panic attacks and that sort of stuff. So I wanted to do the same thing and basically share with you my thoughts at the time whilst going through an anxiety attack. So upon listening to what I'm saying, my voice is fairly erratic. I'm bouncing between topics, and I think I even addressed that. And I'm, not really focused. My voice is going quite fast. I'm sort of a bit over the place. But I'm sharing it with you just because I want to show you what anxiety sounds like and the thought process as it's going along. So when you're listening, don't just listen to what I'm saying, but listen to how I'm saying it and the cadence and the bouncing between topics and that sort of stuff. Right now I'm going through quite a severe anxiety sort of phase, I suppose, for lack of a better word. Yet last night I had like a sort of a mini panic attack. I couldn't breathe. I was struggling to stand up, really. Short of breath, mind racing, the whole thing. So I figured it would be a good idea to talk about what I'm feeling now. So, in general, I feel quite short of breath. It's like, no matter how deeply I breathe in, I'm not getting enough oxygen in. At least that's what it feels like. I'm breathing fine, like physiologically I'm fine, but it feels like there's like a sort of band around my chest. My mind sort of is bouncing from thought to thought to thought to thought to thought. Thinking one thing, thinking the next, and it's a struggle to keep up with myself. And as I'm going between those thoughts, I'm sort of going between different things that have happened or are going to happen in my life. And my mind seems to want to bring up the worst possible outcomes, or just keep replaying what I know may be a bad outcome over and over again. So it's sort of like I'm in this perpetual state of thinking about the worst possible thing that could occur. Now, logically, I know that the worst thing can't occur, but it's hard to counteract the constant bombardment, because as soon as I sort of analyze one thing or realize that that one possible problem won't really occur or won't be as bad, the next 5 are already lined up there waiting for me to deal with it. So it's like a spiral that's constantly getting out of control, I suppose. It's constantly getting worse and worse and worse. And what this eventuates in is just a breakdown, basically. Over the last couple of days, I've had to sort of lay down and just calm myself down with grounding exercises. Otherwise, I'll basically feel like I'm about to lose it. So I struggle to formulate thoughts in a similar way to what I would do with depression, but it's different in the sense that I can speak, I can talk, but it's like I've said, my mind's going too fast, so there's too many things that I want to get out, or too many things that I feel like I need to get out. But it's not really, if I try and slow myself down and calm myself down so that I can sort of speak with a bit more forethought, it's a very difficult process. So as I sit here recording this, I see my line of sight sort of bouncing around between a bunch of different things. So I'm struggling to focus. It's almost like a over-energetic feeling. I'm overstimulated, over-focused, too many thoughts going through my mind. My heartbeat is up. I'm physiologically tense. Everything's happening all at once. And it's a battle to try and remain calm and try and do things to to sort of avoid a crisis. So on that topic, what am I doing to avoid the crisis? What am I actually attempting to do? I've been going through my mental health checklist, which I've talked about before, which is basically a bunch of things that I do for myself that I know work. So the thing that I found has helped me, two things actually, has been going to the gym and doing exercise. And the thought behind that was that I'm already feeling quite physically active. So if I go over the top with that and push myself hard in the gym, that I might actually calm down afterwards, which I have found to sort of be the case. I'll go hard in the gym, tire myself out, get the good rush of hormones, and then I'm starting to feel better. Another thing that I've taken to doing is reading, and particularly reading fiction, because reading itself is quite calming. You have to be very focused and mindful on the task that you're doing. You can't be listening to other things. You can't be talking. You can't be driving. You have to be just there in the moment. So I'll pick up a book, read it, and escape into that universe. So it has the dual effect of taking me outside of my mind or my current worries. On top of that, I'm trying meditation, and that's a bit hit and miss. Sometimes maybe it depends on how stressed I am, but, I really see the value in meditation. I'm not perfect at it, but sometimes the meditation has the effect of calming me down. It's like I've got it before I've reached the, meditation threshold, basically. I'll start meditating and I can calm myself down. But if I'm too stressed out already, sitting down for meditation is a torturous hell, and I've realized now that maybe I should read first or do something else before I sit down for the meditation, because then my mind is in a calm enough place to allow itself to get calmer, if that makes sense. And the thoughts aren't as overwhelming and attacking and as powerful. So I know that I'm rambling and that what I'm saying here is a bit sort of haphazard and sort of bouncing around, but I suppose that's representative of where my mind's at. It's hard to maintain a coherent thought. It's hard to keep focused. It's hard to stay on one track because my mind keeps trying to bounce out between things. In terms of what's caused this, it isn't really any one thing in particular. I've got a couple of really exciting things that I'm working on that I can't wait to occur. So it's sort of like positive stress. One of those being my first book I'm about to release it. I'm just in the final editing stages. So that's really exciting. I'm also in the process of writing a second one as we speak, and I'll give you guys more information the closer that those two come to being released. But that's exciting and good news. There's some bad things that I have to do, or things that might cause me some actual stress. Meeting up with certain people or doing certain things. That's, not that that's pleasant, but it's not out of the usual. Got a new baby in the house, which has its own sense of stresses, but it's a lot better than expected. And once again, it's not that overwhelming on its own. But if all of these factors combined and my mental state is bad, or, my mind decides, you're going to be going through some anxiety at the moment, then all of those things combined and sort of synergistically come together to cause a bunch more anxiety. So it's not like changing those things would cause me to feel less anxious. I could change the stress levels, but I feel like there's a difference between the general stress and anxiety. So if I go to the gym or to jiu-jitsu and do a hard class, I'm putting myself under a bunch of stress. Or if I, try and write another chapter of my book, that could be fairly stressful. Or if I have to teach a class, or, do anything that I would find a bit stressful, talk in public, whatever it is. There's a difference between that sort of stress and anxiety. Anxiety is sort of worrying about the future or projecting a bunch of different possibilities onto a future that is probably unlikely to happen, but you can't just help constantly think about it.
And like I've said, for me, it's very physiological. There's this tightness of the chest and this sort of tension in my body that's really, if that tension were to go, a lot of the mental stress I feel would alleviate. So now just saying that makes me feel like I should look into doing some yoga or some sort of, muscle relaxant sort of therapies like massage or something like that. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll update you on the stuff that I've got coming up, and I hope that you can get something out of me sharing my mental state. Thanks for listening. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can do so at Zach P. Phillips on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Or you can head over to my website at zachary-phillips.com. From there, you'll be able to read my blog, have a look at my short videos, as well as check out my book. Thank you.